This is Melissa's powerful story of healing autism with fruit energy. And this book came out last year, Heal and Prevent Autism, Natural Solutions That Work. I was very fortunate to get a 3-page foreword from Dr. T. Colin Campbell, who you might know. He co-authored the longest nutrition study ever done, the 27-year China study. And he did the foreword with his son Daniel. It was a great match for the foreword. And Melissa's letter that I was reading is in this book.
Autism it was exhausting, and it was kind of, there's a lot of things that is under the surface of autism, I think. There's like hormonal and brain imbalances. I think these are related to diet, and they actually feed diseases. I do think that bacterial diseases that are just in people's bodies are fed by gluten, and it causes brain imbalances and hormone imbalances and adrenal fatigue in children. I think the most important thing that people can do with that is to acknowledge it, to respect it, and to not be afraid of it, and especially to give up their pride, because I have to give up pride with this also, because I get to be a workaholic sometimes, it's like a real need for healing on many levels. I think the reason that autism is so prevalent now is because there's just so much need, and there's lots of trauma with the vaccinations where it's a breach of trust, and it's like toxins also, but it's also a breach of trust. So everything is on in both levels, and people are only not respecting that because they're not respecting themselves.
How you came to be and do what you're doing today, because you've made a lot of changes in your life.
Yeah. I just wanted energy. I mean, fruit was at a dead end, and I wish I found it before I was at a dead end, but it was like the situation, the way it happened. Fruit was just like, it was energy. I couldn't eat regular food anymore. It didn't give me energy. I realized like I wanted to be a shepherd. I was into farming, and so I loved cheese, and I ate like gluten on gluten. So I had no idea. And then when I was trying to get well, I stopped eating gluten, and it was like this rock like lifted, like, and I would eat it again just a few times, and I would always feel like the rock came back after like half an hour. And so I really recognized that. YouTube was kind of like my gateway to raw food, and it made sense to me, the lymphatic system and the fruits and the cleansing and feeding the nervous system. And I figured if I learned in school that the brain uses glucose, then I was like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. Forget about protein. I was very into protein before, and then after this, I just tried eating fruit and raw food, and I felt so much better. I could not really walk very far. I would not go out on a walk or yeah. And after 2 weeks of doing a raw food fast, mostly like I'd say it was kind of like 80-10-10, 80% fruit or
10% protein, 10% fat.
Yeah, and I started running. So it was 2 weeks, and I was totally out of it, like lying on the couch on my side, like randomly, so I could balance because I was dizzy. Running. I was convinced. Yeah.
You just got all this energy.
Yeah.
Wow. What's the time frame? How long have you been?
Like
following a fruit-based diet?
I've been mostly following this fruit-based diet for like 7 years. I've always been high carb, low fat vegan in this time. And most of the time I've been all fruit. I've been for periods of like 6 months with just totally raw, totally no salt, no fancy raw food things. I'm really not into the fancy raw food things. I like simple food.
You, at a certain point, were on quite a bit of like psychotropic drugs.
Yeah.
What happened with that?
Yeah, that was really hard to get off of, and I think I would not have been able to get off it without fruit. I think that was the missing thing. That when I finally found that fruit, I was able to go off it, and so yeah.
Which ones were you taking?
Risperidol and nortriptyline. Yeah, they're neurotransmitter replacements.
So do you feel that fruit could actually replace what they were doing for you?
I think in a way it can, because I think it's just there's an absence of energy. It did, yeah.
Through giving you that energy?
Yeah.
I remember last year you called fruit electrifying.
Well, it is electric.
Yeah. Were you completely able to get off of these psychotropic
Yeah.
drugs?
I was. It took me some time, and I did it very slowly. I did. I would highly recommend it to anyone who's on psychotropic drugs. I know there's some people who like the ease of just taking them and feeling like they're balanced. I personally feel that they're very harmful in the long run. Vitamins, like multivitamin, like mega doses of vitamins, which are sometimes used in autism. I was on those, and I was on like 19 pills. I think they're big. They're pretty big pills. 19,000% daily value of vitamin B12. No one knows how it affects people long term.
So even the supplements?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still high in magnesium. I can't take an Epsom salt bath. I'll get like heart palpitations. So I know that there's effects. It's hard on the kidneys to take a lot of vitamins.
Are you taking anything right now?
No.
So you're just doing the raw
I'm
food,
just doing raw food.
primarily fruit?
I've tried B vitamin supplements sometimes, but I have not found one that agrees with me. So I just try and do it through diet. If I really think I need more B vitamins, I eat more asparagus.
You do eat some vegetables.
I do now. Last year I was having trouble digesting them.
Right. Yeah, I remember last year you said that you're more fruity, and you said Karen is a lot into vegetables. Do you have anything else that you want to add before we open it up to questions? What were some of the changes that you particularly saw as you were moving into this fruit-based diet, and what was happening, like from earlier experiences?
It was my mind. My mind was very like trapped. When I was ill, I was kind of just trying to stay in my body, and like sometimes I noticed things happening, like thoughts, and I wasn't really aware of it. I was just aware of these currents running through my body, and I was like, I'm not even doing anything. I'm sitting here, I'm not inviting these thoughts, and they have these patterns, and they're just happening. And I kind of felt like they were associated with a lot of the ideas I had about myself and the things I had learned about what autism is and how to talk and how I was bad at talking and all these things, and they were just like dead black things, and they were like firing off like automatically. So I was like, okay, this is my thing. I have to get rid of these things. And what fruit did for me was it brought me to a higher, I think, a higher
vibration.
Vibration, yeah.
A higher vibration level.